Okay, can you do a video about not pushing when giving birth? I keep seeing videos about it and I'm curious if I can let my body push on its own. Before I get into it, I'm not driving, but I know exactly the videos that you're talking about and I wish it always worked that way. In theory, yes, your body is going to do it on its own. Does this mean that you will not have to push? No, not typically. So what people are talking about is something called laboring down, right? Ideally, you want to wait to push till you have the urge to push, right? Like you're like, I cannot not push. But if you have an epidural, this can blunt that sensation. Also, the longer that you go being completely dilated and not pushing increases your risk of postpartum hemorrhage. Now, there are people on this app that will tell you, well, don't get an epidural and you won't have to push. I wish. I had a patient recently who was unmedicated, right? So when I say unmedicated, I mean she didn't use laughing gas. She didn't use IV pain medicine. She did not have an epidural. Not 1 ounce of pain medication, pain relief at all. She was completely dilated for 10 hours, pushing on and off, got her into all kinds of positions. The baby was directly how it should be, OA, meaning looking down at the floor the way that things should be. The baby was just not coming down. After 10 hours, we're like, okay, let's try again. And she still pushed for 2 hours. So you may see people on here who are like, don't push, your body will push on its own. Does that happen? For sure. It can happen just like that. But I don't want you to set the expectation that that's always going to happen. And if you're completely dilated and you're not feeling that urge to push for a long, long time, you can increase that risk of hemorrhage. And guess what happened to my friend who was completely dilated for 10 hours? Hers did a bleed, and hers did a big bleed, okay? She needed a Jada. Now, I want you to know that these are the risks that can happen. Doesn't mean it will always happen, but always fear people who are telling you absolutes in everything, because the only thing absolute is that nothing is absolute, okay? So I hope this helps.